How are you?
Good, thank you.
It's your first time here in Uruguay.
It is my first time here in Uruguay.
Okay. What do you expect that you are going to find here in PuntaTech, in this event?
Let's see, what am I going to find here? I'll be honest with you, I didn't really have any expectations. My friends asked me to come down and speak, so I'd actually never been down here. We've invested in at least one Uruguayan company, so I was hoping to sort of, maybe if I'm lucky, to find sort of more great Uruguayan entrepreneurs, but I don't have any expectations. I'm just here to learn about the ecosystem and hopefully share some knowledge and wisdom and help people.
Okay, you work with 500 startups.
Yep.
How does this company works?
So we're a venture capital fund that also happens to have an accelerator program. So we invest in early stage like seed, pre-seed companies, and we try to be helpful. We give them some money, and we also try to be helpful in regards to a network and expertise to help them grow their business.
Okay, what do you think that is the most important for entrepreneurs to have while working with a new startup?
There's lots of stuff that I think is important, but number one, I think it's important sort of that they're very mission focused, and the second part is really the sales and marketing aspect of really understand your customers and figuring out the best and the most cost-effective way of actually reaching them and actually getting them, whether you're a business-to-business company or business-to-consumer company. And I think that's sort of what, like, understanding how to get customers is the most important thing.
Okay. The first day of this event, you make a workshop with some people. How was that experience?
Let's see. I mean, it's fun. I like it, right? I don't know if the startups found it fun, but I found it fun.
I think that they also fun.
Yeah. I hope they found it helpful. That's probably the most important part. But for me, I like doing this, right? Like I like meeting startup founders. I like trying to hopefully give good advice and be helpful for them. And so I hope they found it helpful, although it's a little bit rough on them, right? Yeah. But that's my job.
Okay. You have some contact with startups here in Uruguay. What point in common can you find between other startups from other parts of the world and this, and startups from here? I
mean, startup founders in general in most parts of the world, I said it yesterday, but I think startup founders, I've invested in, at least like 25 startup founders from like at least 25 different countries, probably more. And I think there's a universal sort of like the need to create something that's very universal, right? Okay. And so that startup like entrepreneurial DNA is, I actually think, is the same like everywhere. I think there's different sort of permutations. For example, in Eastern Europe, there's just much stronger engineering bent, right? And in other parts of the world, like certain parts of the Middle East, like there's a very strong sort of sales and marketing bent. So, but overall, like the core DNA of like entrepreneurialism, I think is very similar in most places in the world.
Okay. One last question. I have read that 500 startups invest on digital media companies. What do you think about the future of the digital media?
Yeah, actually, I'm the digital media guy for 500, so I look at a lot of deals in this space. I mean, the challenge with digital media, unlike like traditional sort of SaaS software, it's very, very crowded. There are specific niches that are really interesting, but I think digital media overall, I think, is a very challenging space to sort of invest in, and it's very much a very winner-take-all market, like compared to a lot of other markets, and so. We have done some deals. The reality is that I've done quite a lot of digital media deals, and the truth of the matter is that most of it, it's just they're really hard to scale these businesses. I think especially in the next like 5 to 10 years, we're going to see another major shift in digital media of like new players, very, very big players coming out. So I am very interested in this space, but I do think it is probably one of the harder spaces for entrepreneurs as well as for investors.
You think it's hard because of technology, the changes? Or are other factors that also have something to do with this difficulty to make a startup of digital media?
I think it's the nature of digital media where a longer conversation, but I think the shifting technology platforms is definitely making it very, very hard. And so the challenge with digital media in general, where like we're just talking about specific digital media, the problem right now is that from a monetization perspective, if you look at these stats where for every $100 of like digital media dollars are being spent, like Google and Facebook of ad dollars, right, which is the main model right now. Like Google and Facebook are taking close to 80% of 80 cents out of every single dollar right now. So it's very, very hard, like for business models right now, for whether established digital media established media companies. Everything's digital now, right? Like the New York Times and these big newspapers and big media groups, NBC.
It's all on the internet.
Yeah, or as well as like the Yahoos, which I used to work at. They're very hard to sort of keep up, and Google and Facebook are sucking up most of the monetization right now. So right now, everybody's fighting over a very, very small pie, even though the overall pie is growing. That piece of the pie that they have that they're fighting with is small, and so it's really hard to sustain.
Okay, thank you, and enjoy the rest of PuntaTech.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here.